So my goal is never to discreetly plan more than a session at a time, because I used to plan multiple sessions out, and then, you know, best intentions meets players' creativity, and I would have to scrap ideas. And I was like, okay, well, that's a big waste of my time. If I spend all this time planning sessions that effectively get thrown out, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste that time. So I have very broad, vague ideas of what will come next, and I plan what I plan for the week of. So sometimes that means at the end of a session, I'm asking what are the players intending to do the next session, because that's what I have to prep. That took a while to get used to, but I like that. As painful as that can be, as stressful as that can be for me, that became necessary for running the game the way that I want to run it. Making sure that I'm giving like maximum flexibility to the game, and that I'm not, like I said, wasting my time planning things. That said, when I do sit down to plan, like I did earlier this week for all that seer monastery town stuff, broad ideas, right? Like, okay, there's going to be a painting of the party at a campsite. They're going to meet people in the town and the seer and get told about, the weird way that everybody lives there, and get the quest line, and then the town is attacked, and then they're going to have to save the town or evacuate and then go off on the quest that they gave. I don't know how many sessions that is. These are just broad strokes. And then I just kind of narrow it down to, okay, well, for this next session, how do I make this fight at the campsite and them learning the stuff about, basically a chalk drawing of the party on a rock. How do I make that interesting? And that at this point doesn't take that long to do. But it's just like anything else. It just takes practice to run. I mean, if I'm honest, I could probably wing a session if I really needed to. I really like having time to plan and prep, but I do think it's sort of like a lot of disciplines where you can basically probably sink as much time as you allow yourself into it. And I think that that's okay if you have time. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the planning process, right? Now, if you don't enjoy the planning process, there's all sorts of tricks and hacks, I think, to probably use. Broad strokes and small details for me. Yeah, sort of. And it also keeps things loose, right? So if I need to adapt a plan as I go, or if I want to add something into it, it's easier to do that when I haven't sort of, fully typed up every single little thing. I would say early on, I would probably spend, like, if I was going to run a session for a few hours, man, early on, I was probably like 1-to-1 game time to prep time. It's nowhere near that now. But I would say that even halftime, like if you're running like a 3 to 4 hour session and that takes you an hour to two to like prepare, I might try to think in terms of planning out an arc. That way you can spend a couple of hours broad strokes planning maybe a few sessions, and then it's easier for you to punch out the details as you move through that. That might be a way to approach it. Oh, sure. Yeah. Renee, I did a lot of the same thing. One of the funniest changes to how I prep is that I used to like make note cards for each of the characters that they might meet, and I would write down like phrases that they might say, and like what's this character's disposition towards this in the world. I've definitely done that. And I think that that's a process you go through up to the point that you get more comfortable figuring out and analyzing after the fact, like, well, these are the notes that I use. Pay attention to the notes that you use and pay attention to the notes that you don't actually use. Sometimes that doesn't change how you prep. That just makes you aware that writing the notes is putting it in your head, and now you don't have to reference them. You should still do that process, but you don't necessarily. For me, what that does is like I have some stuff that lives in my notes, but I have very specific things that I have at the table, because I don't need all that. I've got most of that in my head, or I can dig it out and reference it if I need to. But usually I run a session from just like a single sheet of paper. That's all I need. I remember when I finally, so I was a DM for really a couple of years before I played as a player. So I'm very much DM for life type of thing. But when I played in a campaign, the most the thing I was happiest about the most, or my biggest takeaway, was, um, man, there is a lot of ways for a player to have fun with this game. Like I kind of gave myself some leeway, or some I let myself off the hook a little bit as a DM, being like, oh, I need to always be providing all of these things. It's like, if you are an active player, if you're trying to have fun, there are so many ways to have fun. You have so much to do with your character, and so many different things you can think about, and ways, you can interrogate the world, ask questions, engage with it at your pace. Like, um, I think I probably would have assumed that anyway, but it was good to experience it and go like, okay, this is, it's not just, I mean, we are party planners to an extent. Like, we can provide certainly more opportunities to have fun than not, but it's nice to know just how much players can control their fun.